Hi everyone, welcome to week 7 of the Mermaid Method. Now this is a real post in the fact that I think in the past when I was prepping at my mom's house, I had these elaborate ideas, an elaborate kitchen, super fancy equipment, and it's not that I don't have these things, but I want to make it realistic because this is actually how I prep at home and these are the foods that I eat. So when I was eating at my mom's house, I had a little bit more of a privilege of the creativity that I could have, and not saying that you don't get to have that in your own kitchen, but for the sake of this week and the holidays, I just kind of want to keep it simple, clean, and straight to the point when it comes to what prep is all about. So this is the consistency here. We have a protein for our trim turkey bowl. So I'm looking for a protein, a carb source. You're gonna have things like other protein and carb sources with this. I like this as a substitute for sour cream, if you could use that, or like a cremita, which you call in Spanish for like a taco sauce. And this is also high in protein versus high in fat. Then I would suggest, if you want, you can even dice it up with some tomatoes or even some fresh pico de gallo or salsa if you want. I used this in last week's meal prep, so I want to continue to use this salsa. And then I just shredded up some lettuce, or I guess chopped it up, I should say. Oops. And then what you're gonna look for is, if you can, just something that's fresh and simple green. If you want to add a little bit of cabbage or any other colors to it, you can. If you want to add some fats to it, you can with avocado. But right now, I just really want to keep it simple in the fact that I want something that's low in fat, pretty low in carbs actually still, but is more protein dominant. So this is a really, I would say, competition friendly meal for my prep competitors. So let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to actually preheat the oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, 180 Celsius. So that way we can get the lava cakes ready to go and preheat that oven up, since this is all pretty easy. The lava cake takes 20 minutes to bake, but maybe 2 minutes to prepare. So we'll get that all settled in. And once we're all ready to go with the turkey cooking, the rice cooking, then I'll preheat the oven, and then we'll get everything cleaned up and ready for the lava cake. We'll finish out this week as well with the, I'm trying to think of what I had for us. Oh yeah, Mediterranean mason jars. So these salads are easy to go. You can take them to work. I'm gonna show you how to prep them, stack them up properly. That way they don't get soggy throughout the week. And then you can take them to work with you and even dump them out in a bowl if you want to eat them instead of in the mason jar. So all right, let's get this going, and welcome to week 7. All right, so we've already got our rice cooking. Again, everything is measured out, cooked when we're doing the bowls. So doing this raw right now, I already have in my head, I know that one package of this is going to serve me 20 ounces cooked. This is 16 ounces raw right now, but I add actually a bunch of water to juice it up because it is so lean. So it adds a little bit more volume and it makes it feel a little bit heavier. So this is more than a pound of that ground turkey after you add it up with the measurements. I know it's supposed to shrink it down, but like I said, the water will add the volume back into it. Then the rice, so 600 grams cooked, is probably around 1.5 cups to 2 cups. I would say jasmine rice varies on the length of it, but I'm gonna say it's probably around 1.75 cups. So just get that rough variation, and then you wanna put about 2.5 to 3 cups of water in here. I put about 3 cups of water just to be on the safe side. And I'm gonna have that boiling right now on high until it starts to rise up. Maybe 5 to 10, I was gonna say 5 to 7 minutes. And then I'll turn this down to medium, put the stove with the lid on it, and then maybe even eventually turn it down to low as it starts to cook and steam even further. So as we get this going, we're gonna start with the ground turkey. I'm going to spray with the avocado spray, and then I'm gonna turn this on, and I'll even put the dual on as well. But I just wanna coat the pan nice and well, so that way we can at least get a good base of the ground turkey going. We'll add the water in it, and then as it starts to thicken up, then we'll add the seasoning. So we'll add in our pound of ground turkey. Take out this. If you don't want to touch any of this, use tongs and then wash your hands. Ground turkey is going to start cooking. I'm going to put this off to the side. Don't really need the knife anymore, so I'm going to put that out. Put these aside to wash. Just for sanitary purposes, I don't want any meat, or especially raw meat, on this cutting board since I'm cutting vegetables with it for the Mediterranean bowl. That being said, put a bowl underneath or a plate, something that can at least secure the bacteria if there's any leaking from the packaging. The water is now starting to boil, so now I'm going to turn this down on the rear to about 5.5, 6. Put on the speed, just level 2, make sure that that's nice and easy. Okay, now we're gonna get to the ground turkey, start cutting this up. Grab a spatula, and then you wanna dice this into tiny little squares. All right, I'm gonna let that chill for a little bit. I am going to keep the side of this. I'm trying to think, this is from the rice, so I'm all finished. I'm gonna use this, so that way the raw turkey has something to sit on. The scale is good to go, but I'm gonna actually start creating the bowl in general. That is going to start with the base, meaning the lettuce in here, and you want like 40 grams. So let's just really run this out, probably even 30 grams. So let's just put in here and see what that looks like. 33 grams, perfect. 25, 30, beautiful. That's a great base. Okay, this is starting to bounce even more, so I'm just turn this down even further. Okay, Greek yogurt, we'll measure these after we put in the ground turkey, but I just want to show you the consistency once you stir and drain this up. So you'll take off the lid, it'll have its little security protection. Take that little film off. And then do you see how this is just nice and secure, thick? It's a great batter. We're gonna use this for the lava cake as well. I love it. High source of protein, 18 grams of protein, 5 grams of carbs. Great choice. And then I have a feeling, my bad, I would cook this. We'll get back to this. I'm gonna start cooking it, and then once it's sizzling, I'll show you again even more. All right, so now that the turkey is finally cooking, and I've got the broccoli the broccoli. The rice is just sitting here steaming for the rest of it. I'm kind of laughing at myself that I tripped up on those words. But it's just gonna probably sit here and cook for maybe another 5 minutes or so, and then I'll turn it off. This is cooking. You can see it's sizzling. It's juicing up still. So the remaining juices that are coming out of the ground turkey from the original raw meat that it had inside of it already, this is what's sizzling up. But it's starting to cook, meaning that water is starting to evaporate. So what I'm going to have us do here, pour in just a little bit more water, probably about a quarter cup at a time. And now you can hear how it's kind of taking out that sizzling from it. And I'm just going to turn up the temperature of this and then let that sit and cook for a little while. Okay. Now the rice I'm going to check with a spoon. So I'm going to grab one of my spoons here. Lift this up. And it's looking pretty much. So that's actually, let me just make sure that's really on low here. If there's any heat coming from that still, just make sure that sits on low for about maybe actually 2 to 3 more minutes. It's almost done. I'll let this sizzle in. Once the water's all evaporated I will make sure that we continue to add seasoning. I have a feeling I'm probably gonna add, no joke, probably half a cup in total. And then that's about it. So we'll let that water sit through, cook all of this, let it evaporate, add the seasoning, and then I'll have us continue from there. All right, so now we're at a point where the ground turkey is cooking, and you can see where it's starting to get the golden color underneath. So all the water is evaporated out now, and it's actually starting to cook through. And you can tell that this ground turkey is a lot more voluminous. So we're gonna add in the paprika. I'll be honest, I'm not really going to measure this out, but I'm looking for about 1.25 teaspoons. I need a knife. Grab a knife real quick. But I'm looking for about 1.25 teaspoons, and then from there, let's just go ahead and add that in, probably about that much. Same thing with 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And they're gonna do the same thing with ground pepper, freshly ground if you can. Going in, adding this. And I'm spilling some of it a little bit over, so if you miss some, put it back in. Make sure that you give enough love to spread the seasoning. And then this is starting to cook fairly fast on me, so I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit more. I keep spilling it. Okay, there we go. So just keep going through, circling in, trying to mix in the seasoning, cooking it all. Like I said, this tends to go flying, so if you find any missing pieces, catch them, bring them back in. All right, so this looks like it's almost done cooking. I'm gonna put this into a serving dish along with the rice, and then we'll measure it out and create the taco bowl from there. So I like this shrimp taco bowl. It's great with lean ground turkey, very low in fat, but you can always add avocado or olive oil as a dressing if you want to add some fats into your macros. Okay, so now we've finished all the cooking and preparation for the taco bowls. This is the part where I would say pretty much your week is set and good to go. You can put everything else a la carte. If you are able to store these in like a little small ramekin or a little storage container, or even store them on the side separate. So I would actually do like the rice, ground turkey, and salad with the vegetables on that side, rice next to it, turkey, and then on the other side of the ground turkey, I would put the I almost said sour cream, the Greek yogurt, so that way you have that consistency to hold it still, and then the salsa on the other side of that, or the pico de gallo, so that way it all stays fresh together without sogginess or clumping or any of that weird stuff. Now, what you have is already the pre-measured lettuce. I'm going to preheat the oven for the lava cake beforehand. I keep saying lava cake because that's what I'm used to, but it's actually a birthday cake. So I like this. I'm a huge fan of putting in some sprinkles, little chocolate chips in it, making it fun if possible, and celebrating a little high protein meal. Now, preheating the oven, we're gonna bake it to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, like I had said, or 180 degrees Celsius. And what I'll put in here is, starting off, we're gonna go with the bases of our protein and carbs. So I actually like the rice on the bottom, and then I'll go ahead and start with the ground turkey. Now, I'm looking for 120 grams of rice. So I'm gonna take this out, grab in my nice big scoop, pour out here 120 grams. We're very close, 118, 120, perfect. All right, so now that I've gotten that all set and good to go, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my 4 ounces of ground turkey, which is around 112 grams, but I'm just gonna stick with the consistency of what I have measured for you all, so that way you know what it looks like. And then 4 ounces cooked right here. Almost there. Perfect. And now you can see that that's about maybe 4 to 5 servings right there in total, just a little over that 16 ounces that we had mentioned here. So this will still serve you enough to at least 4 to 5 meals. And then we'll go into the toppings and all the fun stuff. So I had mentioned before, we might want some of our Greek yogurt. I'm gonna switch back to the grams, okay? And just nice easy top. I'm looking for about 40, let's go like that. 37, 40. Almost there. There we go, 40. Okay, and then I'm gonna put the rest back into the container. Pico de gallo, salsa, however you want to flavor it up. I'm looking for about 1 ounce, so 28 grams, about a tablespoon, just over, that's okay. I'm okay with doing that. This is like a bonus food item. You don't necessarily need to measure this out, because to me, this is all free calories. It's good for you. Great source. What am I doing? I'm laughing at myself right here. Great source of nutrients, micronutrients especially. And I would even say that this is actually great for your immunity. So now we're gonna just season this off with some salt and pepper. Very easy. It looks like an amazing taco bowl. And you are good to go. Check this out. Love it. Easy to store, easy to prep. Like I said, you can just do it a la carte sideways, so that way you have the salsa on one side, then you have the cream, then go with the turkey or even the rice, so that way it absorbs it, and then put the lettuce on the opposite side of the end. All right, enjoy.